We're waiting very eagerly to hear from you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Garanga ki jai. Please take over the call whenever you're ready. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mati. Thank you. Okay, we'll offer a prayers and then we can get started. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chekshurumlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vundam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My obeisance to all the devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kupasantu bhyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you for this opportunity so that I can read something about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates and share whatever I understood and whatever I'm inspired by, not necessarily realized. So we'll discuss something from Chaitanya Lila. Basically, I thought what we'll go through today is one section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is specifically Antya Lila, the last portion of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 2 chapter number 4. There's a description about how Sanatana Goswami meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then their exchanges after meeting, before meeting and after meeting. Basically, Sanatana Goswami's journey before meeting and after meeting, like that. So that is the overall context where we'll go to discuss some exchanges between Sanatana Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur, so that we can appreciate them, appreciate the greatness, kindness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and appreciate the wonderful qualities of Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur. So by appreciating them, we may get some qualities that they have. So that is the overall intention. So with that, I'll give a little bit more context and we'll continue. So overall, we are most of you, yeah, maybe all of you know about Chaitanya Charitamrita. But just to briefly touch, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is such a wonderful literature that our acharyas valued it so much because it has both the pieces of both the portions of tattva or the philosophy portion, and then rasa or some story lila portion also is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they're nicely mixed together. So we get both of them in a palatable way, simple way, like the digestible way. So one time I remember this is written in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's biography, that is known as Bhakti Vikas Maharaj wrote also. So basically, one time there was I think he was giving a class, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj was giving a class, and at one location there was some lot of rains are coming. So that time it's almost like flood situation, but not really flood yet. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made a comment uh, saying that how just let us say this whole area is flooded now. We don't have we cannot save much like that. And then we have options to save 3 literature. Then we should save Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, like that he mentioned. But then for some reason we're not able to hold all 3 of them. And let us say we're not able to hang on to both of them also. Then maybe we give up Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the most one of the cherished literature for all of us. But then uh, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita don't leave at any cost, like that he describes. That means Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, because just by having Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can establish a whole Krishna consciousness one more time, like that he describes. Even if all the other scriptures are gone, like that. Because Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita has so many verses quoted from other scriptures, including Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then Srimad Bhagavatam, like that, other scriptures also. So it's very valuable literature for us. that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has given us. In fact, it is one of the most authoritative of biographies that are available. Apparently, there are Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj was describing in one of the class. Apparently, there are about 27 biographies, it seems, written by for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lifetime. But then, out of them, seven are considered very prominent and authoritative. And out of them, Chaitanya Charitamrita is one of the topmost among all of them, like that he was describing. So, that is some appreciation for Chaitanya Charitamrita. And even from our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, even from his life story, we know when he was traveling at the old age from India in that cargo boat, Jaladuta, to all the way to USA. That time he was writing. He has a habit, habit of Srila Prabhupada has a nice habit of journaling also, right? So from the journal, devotees understood what he was writing. Prabhupada was writing. Uh, I'm going through this sickness, motion sickness currently, but my only solace is this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, like that Sri Prabhupada wrote. He was relishing the Chaitanya Charitamrita even during the journey, which is considered that time in those days with the cargo ship journey on the sea was very, very hard journey, not simple like I was sit in the flight and come. So even the difficult times, he was releasing Chaitanya Charitamrita and he was loving it like that. So that is the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So obviously I don't have so much, I'm not able to make so much time myself to observe in it, but whatever, because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Appearance Day we celebrated yesterday, I took some time over the last week to review this particular section of Chaitanya Charitamrita. One more, I want to share one more thing, credit where it's due. His Grace Burujani Prabhu, who is one of the disciple of Srila Prabhupada, some time ago in, I think, 2002, not 2002, they were 3 years ago, 2022, he covered in an online Govardhan retreat, that time it's COVID season, online Govardhan retreat, he covered this section of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's why I was inspired by to go through that section one more time myself by reading. At that time we heard only from him, Burijan Prabhu. Obviously his relations are so high, Burijan Prabhu's relation. But whatever I understood, whatever we can understand from Prabhupada purports and from this literature, we can discuss. Yeah. So there's overall context in Chaitanya Charitamrita, appreciation of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So basically, the topic today, overall theme is that what can we learn from the loving exchanges between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami. That's the overall topic theme today. So, the way most of the devotees probably know that Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is divided into three sections: Adilila, Madhyalila, and Antyalila. Primarily, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lifetime, like the last part of the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lifetime is described in the Antyalila, which has some portion of nice dealings with devotees. And then later on, we'll hear more about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally experiencing this Krishna Prema himself, like that, with all the highest forms of ecstasy he was experiencing, like that. That's the later sections. But in this section, we are hearing nice association with the devotees, how is taking care of the devotees, how his love for the devotees is there. All that we are hearing in this section. So now going to Antyalila 4th chapter. So the way uh, I'm not so good at Bengali, so please pardon me. So I'm referring to the English text and going from there. So in the Antyalila, most of you know the way Chaitanya Charitamrita is written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is for each chapter, he gives the first verse of the chapter, he gives a summary of the whole chapter. So the way he describes the first verse is like that when Sanatana Goswami returned from Vrindavan, where returned to Jagannath Puri, then Lord Chaitanya affectionately, this is important word, affectionately saved him from his determination to commit suicide. We'll hear the more details, but I'm just summarizing. So basically, Sanatana Goswami, for some reason, wanted to commit suicide after coming back from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri. We'll hear the details about it. That time, Lord Chaitanya affectionately saved him. Number one aspect. Then another aspect is Lord Chaitanya tested him. Burjan Prabhu, when he was giving classes, he was focusing on this aspect of the word pariksha or test. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was testing him. And then after that, third element of the verse is he purified his body. This is such a great skill to have that he summarizes the whole chapter of so many verses into one verse. So that's the greatness of devotees like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So he summarized a whole chapter in one verse like that. Three elements basically. So Sanatana Goswami wanted to commit suicide. Lord Chaitanya affectionately saved him, and then Lord Chaitanya tested him, and then purified his body like that. So that's how the chapter starts. So the background for this is actually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is not the first time he's meeting Sanatana Goswami. This is actually about the third time he's meeting Sanatana Goswami. So the way, and I will not go into the full chronology. That takes a lot of time, and I'm not so well versed also with all the chronology without seeing in my notes. Essentially, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Sanatana Goswami for the first time in Ramakeli. Most of you might have heard when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was trying to go to Vrindavan for the first time. During that time, he visited Ramakeli with the primary intention, undisclosed intention, to meet Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami there. So that is the time they met first time at Ramakeli. And then later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also instructed Sanatana Goswami in Varanasi for some time. And then this is the time. Now this is the third time. So basically, before this, we are in Antilila, right? Before this, what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instructions to associates like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami to go stay in Vrindavan and then excavate holy places, write Vedic scriptures, conclusions, establish the conclusions of Vedic scriptures like that, and show by personal example how to practice bhakti. All those instructions he gave, and they were living in Vrindavan. From time to time, so Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami comes to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the third time Sanatana Goswami decides to come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. In fact, this is the time where he spent the longest amount of time, about 1 year, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, so that's the overall context. So what happened was Sanatana Goswami was coming back from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri. And then at the same time, interestingly, Rupa Goswami was staying in Jagannath Puri before Sanatana Goswami came. And then Rupa Goswami left to Bengal after that. And then he will go to Vrindavan also. Next, Rupa Goswami will go back to Vrindavan. But they both did not meet on the way. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami did not meet on the way. So now, um, so the two words Burjan Prabhu was highlighting in the first verse was Snehat or affection, and then Pariksha or a test. We talked about test or examination like that. So then Sanatana Goswami starts to travel from Vrindavan to Puri. In those days, there's not much conveyance like we have that people used to travel, especially sadhus used to travel. They used to travel by bare feet. That means they travel by walking for a long time. Where is Vrindavan? Where is Jagannath Puri? So, so it takes several weeks probably. So just by walking. So then he traveled by foot. And then sadhus like Sanatana Goswami, they're very humble and they're very simple in their living also. That means they don't carry, like when I'm going for a trip for 2 days, I carry some prasadam with me, prepare some prasadam and keep it ready like that. But the sannyasis and sadhus, they're very simple. Whatever is available, they accept it. If it's available by Krishna's mercy, they'll accept it like that, right? So because of that, on his travel, for a long time, he had to fast also. Sanatana Goswami, many times he didn't have food to eat. But if there's someone gives food, he accepts it. Otherwise, he's fasting also. Sometimes he eats some fruits. Sometimes he begs from some householders to have some food. Sometimes he fasts also like that. That's how Sanatana Goswami is traveling from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri. So while traveling, he comes across a water body where he drinks some water. The way he's describing Chaitanya Charitamrita is, interestingly, because he was fasting for some time, and also because the water itself was bad or contaminated, so he contracted a disease, like that is described. What kind of disease he contracted? Basically, his body was full of, his skin had some oozing sores that came out, and the sores were so dangerous, in the sense that, so difficult to deal with, like they have pus coming out, blood coming out, and they're itching like that. So that kind of disease Sanatana Goswami contracted. So, and also is not very pretty smell. It's a horrible smell also is coming from them, it seems. And and if you scratch those itches, and the blood will come like that, and it will increase, itching will increase more and more like that. So that kind of disease he contracted. One of the things I was remembering in this context, one devotee was sharing me yesterday when I went to temple, how we as practicing devotees, if we don't take care of our body and emotions nicely, that means our body and mind nicely, then that can lead to sinful tendencies, sinful activity, and even atheistic views also. We can be consumed by atheistic views and sinful tendencies like that. That was interesting. How that is related here is, I was thinking about how you notice how, when, because he was fasting and because of the bad water, he contracted the disease described. So please don't mind me describing like this. Scriptures can be read at multiple levels. One level is looking at them from a transcendental platform. That means Sanatana Goswami is a pure devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, so everything can be is a leela, like that. That is one perspective we can take from transcendental leela also. It's a good perspective also. It's important also for devotees to look at. But also, we can also look at it in a next level, like what lessons we can learn by looking at the example, not necessarily pulling them down to our level, not necessarily pulling them down to our level, but not listen. I can learn as a practicing devotee like that also. We can see these pastimes. So I'm describing from that angle also. Yeah. So please don't mind that. So from that perspective, for example, um, if because if we don't take care of a body properly, for example, we don't eat sufficient food, for example, or we don't take sufficient rest, for example, sleeping, for example, or if we don't give some sufficient break in our day and week and month and year to recuperate from our busy schedules, busy services, we need to have some refreshing time with scripture, with holy place, with saintly personalities, whatever way we like to have refreshing time. So when we don't have that, that means when we don't take care of body or mind properly, then what will happen is we cannot practice our spirituality nicely also. So that is the aspect I wanted to highlight. Because, for example, when we eat very little and when we sleep very little, what happens? When we're chanting japa, we'll get sleepy. Then we cannot focus on chanting also. And the contrary is also true. When we eat too much, then also we'll feel sleepy during the japa, for example. Or we'll feel, Prabhupada writes in one of the Srimad Bhagavatam purports, how when we eat too much more than what we need, then we'll become lazy and we'll become fatty. Like that he describes Sri Prabhupada in one of the Srimad Bhagavatam purport like that. And we know from Bhagavad Gita, the prescription given is moderation in terms of eating, sleeping, work, and recreation, like that, right? So that also is important for our as far as devotees. Not consider, we take care of our body and mind and intelligence with the understanding that these are the available tools that I have currently. Only my health is nice, then I can practice my spirituality nicely, like that. So with that understanding, we take care of the body in terms of health, health in terms of food, or sleep, in terms of exercise, like that. In terms of mind, having relationship, loving relationship with devotees and people, devotees. So that we have somebody who can share, whom we can share our mind with, and whom we can consult if we have any doubts like that. So like that, it's important to take help also, so that we can practice spiritual life nicely. So that's how Sanatana Goswami contracted the disease is described. And then Sanatana Goswami started to contemplate. So now I'm in this, my body is in such a horrible state now. Like we described with sores, right? Like that, right? So now he's thinking, I'm born in a, I'm born in a low family, and then I have no good qualities. This is the humility of Sanatana Goswami. And then he's thinking, this body is useless. Why? Because I cannot see Lord Jagannath with his body, because I served in Muslims kingdom earlier, so I'm worse than Malechas. I'm not anymore Brahmana anymore. Like that he's thinking. So I cannot go to Jagannath Puri temple. I cannot have darshan of Lord Jagannath, and then I cannot see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also often, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lives very close to the temple. So how can I go from the temple region to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that? So, so I cannot do that also with this body. And then even if I walk near the temple, I met come in contact with some pujaris, and this kind of contaminated body, if I come in contact with some pujari, I will unnecessarily contaminate them. So it will be an offense on my part. So like that is contemplating Sanatana Goswami. And then he's thinking, I will suffer with all these things. So because I cannot serve with this body properly, maybe I should I should take suicide. I should give up this body, like that is considering. And then he makes a plan that maybe I'm going to Jagannath Puri anyway. Radha is coming up. When Radha comes up, then under the wheels of Lord Jagannath cart, I'll give up my body. That will be auspicious way of this extremely inauspicious situation I'm in with this body like that. That's so he contemplates Sanatana Goswami. And then he continues walking like that. And then he goes to Jagannath Puri. So here, when we read scriptures like this, uh, one of the best part of reading scriptures is we get to see the heart of the devotees. Get to see the consciousness of the devotees, like exalted devotees like Sanatana Goswami, like that. So we may not be imitate what they're doing exactly, but we can follow the principle from by seeing from their life, whatever we understand our level at least. So in this case, what we can notice is, out of all the reasoning Sanatana Goswami is thinking, he is not thinking I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad. That's not the focus. Focus is I cannot do this any service because of this current bodily condition. So the focus is on service. So as practicing devotees also, our focus should be on how can I be of service? Whether this situation will help me to serve or it will not help me to serve. That is how our consciousness should also, we should practice like that. Otherwise, my default consciousness, for example, is always how can I enjoy in this situation? How can I enjoy in that situation like that? But I'm practicing like that. We can practice that. Okay, instead of thinking that how to enjoy, let me see how can I serve in this situation like that. So that's the consciousness we can learn from Sanatana Goswami, the way he's approaching this topic like that. Of course, there is a transcendental portion to this whole Leela, which is um, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is putting this Sanatana Goswami through this test. Okay. So we'll discuss that also, more details also. So let me make a note of one point I wanted to cover so I don't forget about it. Basically, how to deal with our life situations. That's what I wanted to cover later on, but I will make a note. So that's another aspect. So Sanatana Goswami contracted the disease and he finally made it to the Jagannath Puri. So that's the first section of this pastime. And then going to the second section, what happened after we reached Jagannath Puri. So basically, another thing to note is all the way while Sanatana Goswami is traveling by foot for so many days like this to Jagannath Puri, is anticipating meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, having darshan of lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that. This one beauty of olden days when they had a longer journey to go to a holy place or a Tirtha Yatra like that. Because they're meditating before they reach the place, on the anticipating and meditating on what they're going to do, how they're going to be. It is so auspicious to meet like that. Most of you might have heard about Uddhava's meditation also while going to Vrindavan. When Kamsa deputes him to go to Vrindavan and pick him up. Uh, I think it's Akrura, right? Akrura. Is it Akrura? Anybody remembers? Is it Akrura, Uddhava? I think it's Akrura if I remember correctly.
Yes, Prabhu, it's Akrura.
Akrura, right? Thank you, Mate. Yeah. So Akrura, right? Akrura's meditation also going to Vrindavan. He goes on the chariot and it takes a long time to go from Madura to Vrindavan. It's such a short distance relatively on a chariot to go. But it takes such a long time. He's meditating. Oh, when I go, I have this great opportunity to see Krishna, and Krishna will greet me like this. Balram will greet me like this. Like that is meditating. Like that is going. So similarly, whenever we are going to holy places, senior devotees and our Guru Varga, they also uh, guide us to be in meditative mood before we go to holy place. That way, it's not like our body and mind both are there in the holy dham, not just the body. Because of fast flight we go and we reach there, but the mind is not there. So we can also anticipate the great fortune we have, great mercy we have from Krishna and Radharani, that we are able to go to holy place first of all, and then we are able to see such holy places there. We are able to hear Krishna Kada from sadhus there, sadhu or guru there. So we can meditate on that auspiciousness that we got and the mercy we got through the mercy of the Krishna, Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the devotees like that. So that's another principle also Burjan Prabhu shares through this pastime. How that's the benefit of extended journey to, well, go traveling to holy place like that. And then he goes there. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami, where does he go once he go to Jagannath Puri? He remembers, he knows Haridas Thakur. How does he know Haridas Thakur? Because remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Sanatana Goswami in Ramakeli before. So that time, along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also Haridas Thakur, along with many other devotees. So that's so he had met Haridas Thakur before. So that's why he had that friendship with him, and then he chose to go to Haridas Thakur place, which Haridas Thakur used to live in a place called Siddha Bakul in Jagannath Puri. So he went there and he offered obeisances to Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur, because he already knows him, he had affection for him, he actually embraces him. That's described. So in Srimad Bhagavatam first canto also, one of the purpose, Srila Prabhupada highlights this point about the Vaishnava culture, that Krishna used to demonstrate personally like that. Krishna, when he goes to meet Pandavas, he exchanges greetings with the different Pandavas according to their status. For example, for Yudhishthira Maharaj, Krishna personally pays obeisances like that. For Arjuna, he embraces him like that. Whereas the younger Pandavas, they pay obeisances to Krishna like that. Like that, they exchange greetings according to the position of the other person. That's a part of Vaishnava etiquette and Vaishnava culture that is demonstrated. Krishna personally exemplifying for us. So that also, we can also follow that Vaishnava etiquette. So then Haridas Thakur embraced him, and then Sanatana Goswami says, I wish to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, like that he expresses his desire. So you notice one other thing is, uh, devotees are focused on why they come here. Not like I came to the holy place, now what can I enjoy here? Not like that. He's focused on what is the main purpose he came here, to take darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lotus feet, to take association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that. So then Haridas Thakur says, don't worry, time is very soon, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come, like that he tells. Basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes every day morning after the after he goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every day morning goes to Jagannath Puri temple to see Lord Jagannath, and then after that he brings some this chapter is written high quality prasad is described. High quality Jagannath Prasad he brings for Haridas Thakur. Why? Haridas Thakur was originally born in a Muslim family and he doesn't have interest into Jagannath temple. So he stays there only, he stays away and he takes the darshan of the chakra of the Jagannath temple. So that way he stays there at Siddhabukul. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally, Supreme Lord personally goes there to deliver prasadam to him every day and give him as association like that. So he says that he will come every day like that. So don't worry like that. So this is another thing we can see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood and nature from here. That how he is very, very affectionate to his devotees. So see Haridas Thakur every day is coming personally. Not like he'll tell some servant, he can tell anybody, you go and deliver some prasadam to him. They will take care of it. No, he's so affectionately, he personally coming to Haridas Thakur and giving the prasadam every day like that and discusses scriptures with him also. This is described, this is what Brijan Prabhu was highlighting as sneha, the word in the first verse of the 4th chapter of Antelila. So then going further, one other thing, one other lesson Brijan Prabhu talks about in this section was that how we can also similarly share our affection among devotees with each other like that. So of course, sometimes another aspect is sometimes the Supreme Lord might show affection in a particular way that we may not like, but still we are open for mercy coming in different ways as long as that is helping us to go in our relationship closer to Krishna. So that is another important thing. So our focus is, I want to grow in my relationship to Krishna. I want to grow in my service relationship with Krishna like that. So whatever that supports it, whether it's something seems enjoyable, something that seems distressful, we accept it because that's helping in my service to Krishna. That is helping me in my growing my service attitude to Krishna. Then we accept it like that. So that is another thing we can learn through this pastime of Sanatana Goswami and how we went through the exam of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, soon enough Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits the Haridas Thakur's place, Siddhabakul, and then they both offer obeisances, Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami both offer obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Haridas Thakur mentions, oh, see, Sanatana Goswami is offering his obeisances to you. Like that he announces to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this context, Buddhijan Prabhu was describing, sometimes when devotees used to visit Srila Prabhupada and pay obeisances, the servant or secretary, whoever is a close devotee was there with Prabhupada, they used to announce like that, it seems. See, Burjana Prabhu is offering obeisance to you. See, Ganesham is offering obeisance to you, like that it seems. So that has two purposes. One is to bring to notice of Srila Prabhupada. Another is, Srila Prabhupada might has thousands of disciples. So he may not remember everyone's name. So this one way they're announcing the name of the devotee also, like that Burjan Prabhu was describing. So like that, in this case, of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a wonderful relation with Sanatana Goswami. So he sees Sanatana Goswami and he says, he becomes surprised, but very happy to see Sanatana Goswami like that. And now he wants to embrace Sanatana Goswami. Who? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to embrace Sanatana Goswami. But remember the condition of Sanatana Goswami's body, all the sores that are, he contracted disease, bodies with full of sores like that. So Sanatana Goswami is feeling inside, how can he embrace? Oh, please, he was resisting that, Mahaprabhu, please don't touch me. My body is contaminated like this with sores or horrible fluid is coming out. It is smelly like this. Like that, he is resisting. And out of his humility, he is also saying, I'm of low caste, low family, like that also he is telling also. So Sanatana Goswami was resisting like that. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't listen, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instead he forcibly embraces Sanatana Goswami. Even in that condition, even though the pus coming out of his body is touching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body personally like that, still he didn't mind, because he has so much affection for Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami felt so terrible. Oh my God, I'm touching Lord's body with these things, with these contaminated things, like that he was feeling. So, but what can you do? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu overpowered him with his affection and mercy on Sanatana Goswami, like that. So that is another thing. Another lesson here is that externally, when it comes to affectionate dealings, external things don't matter so much, like that. That is one important aspect. Of course, we hear another bigger instruction from Nectar instruction or Upadeshamrita, how we are not meant to see external features of the body of a pure devotee and then judge them based on the body, like that. So that can lead to offensive mentality also. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Sanatana Goswami with affection. So then they both converse for some time. So the conversation also, this goes into detail. This chapter goes into detail. So they were talking about how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to remember Vrindavan, it says. So he asked about devotees in Vrindavan. Of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, remember, whenever he sees something, it reminds him of Vrindavan, like that. So now somebody is coming from Vrindavan, he's so happy thinking about Vrindavan, thinking about devotees in Vrindavan, like that. So he sat there, and Sanatana Goswami took a suitable position also. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was remembering Vrindavan, it seems. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, "Oh, Rupa Goswami, your brother Rupa Goswami was here 10 days ago, and he left to Bengal," like that. He describes to him. He explains, shares with him. And then Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also shares another bad news to Sanatana Goswami. What is the bad news? He says that uh, Anupama attained Ganga Prapti. The word is used, that means he left this world, basically, Anupama. So the Ganga Prapti word is used to indicate that he left this world, like that. So, and then this is another important section where we can learn another lesson. He describes how Anupam was firmly fixed devotee of Lord Rama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies Anupama for his fixed determination in worship of Lord Rama and his fixed shelter in Lord Rama, like that. He appreciates that. And um, then Sanatana Goswami adds to that to confirm, to supplement what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. He'll narrate an incident some time ago. Basically, all these are three brothers, right? Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Anupama are three brothers. Some time ago, he relates an incident. Sanatana Goswami is telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is relating an incident where Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami tell Anupam one day, "Oh, my dear Anupam, instead of worshipping Rama, why don't you worship Krishna? You also worship Krishna like us. So then we all can do Krishna Nam Bhajan. We all can discuss Krishna Katha regularly, like that. So that would be very, very nice. All three brothers doing the same thing, like that." Like that, they convinced him. So Anupam said, "Okay." Then he went home. But that night he could not sleep. He could not waver from his taking shelter of Lord Rama, because he's so much attracted to Lord Rama and surrendered to Lord Rama's form in so many ways. So he comes back next day and say, "I'm not able to do it," like that. So basically, this is a narration Sanatana Goswami is telling to tell about Anupam, how they tried also, but he could not waver from his devotion of Lord Rama, number one. Number two, he says, Anupam was always engaged in chanting the name of Lord Rama and always engaged in hearing Lord Rama's kada, like that. So these are two aspects he describes about him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appreciates that devotion. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu supplements that with another story, because he had another devotee called Murari Gupta in Navadvip, who was also like that Rama Bhakta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day says, "You give up Ram Bhakta, you also become Krishna Bhakta," like that. And then Murari Gupta is not able to give up. and he tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu openly, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sanctions him. Okay, please go ahead with your Ram Bhakti nicely like that. So he's appreciating this fixity, the way the words Burijan Prabhu uses it, fixity on Lord and Master is very, very important in a devotee's life, like that is describes, Burijan Prabhu describes. So that's what we can learn from here. How we need to be fixed with our devotion to our Supreme Lord that we're wanting relationship with. What does this mean? How does it manifest practically in our life? So, for example, one thing uh, is not wrong to read pastimes of different forms of the Lord, different incarnations of the Lord. In fact, it's important to read also. But as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our primarily we are developing our bhakti for Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So that mood we carry, our acharyas carry especially. So we also trying to cultivate that mood instead of trying to focus on different forms of the Lord. But if somebody has natural attraction to some form, it is absolutely okay. But we try our best to stay in the path of what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us, Braja Prema. He came to give us the highest form of love. That is in Golak Vrindavan, that is exhibited by gopis of Vrindavan like that. So that we remember, number one. Number two, this also means, of course, many. I don't know many of you on the call, so I do not know. Please forgive me if I tell something that is meant for newcomers in devotional service. So, like for example, uh, some devotees, when they get some big distress in their life, they suddenly think, okay, why don't I go to this devata and worship, do this yagna? Why don't I do this puja for this devata? Then that will solve immediately. My big distress will go away. Like that, they'll think. Some devotees, initially at least. So we should be wary of those kind of things. We should be fixed on Krishna. Like whatever distress we have, whatever need we have, whatever want we have at this time, whatever want we have that we think it's a need currently, we go to our only one master we have, Krishna. Then Krishna will take care of everything we need to. Because Krishna is such a loving master, he will not force us, saying that, oh, that's a material desire, you get out from here. I don't care about you. No, he never disown us like that. Even if you have material desire, currently I'm not able to uh, give up the material desire in my mind because of then we can just go to Krishna. Actually, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu tells one wonderful principle. I like it. Of course, we all know the highest principle in devotion service is unalloyed devotion service. That means we're not wanting anything for us, whether it is a bhukti, whether it is a mukti, we don't want anything for us. We want service of Krishna, we want pleasure of Krishna. That is the highest devotion service. We need to practice, we need to cultivate like that, right? But sometimes I may not be in such pure state yet. My position is I'm throughout the day I'm thinking about some material thing that's troubling me. Then I'm thinking, oh, I should not take this to Krishna because Krishna means I should not ask anything material. When I'm doing that, I'm spending all my times with that material distress or material situation, material desire I have. I'm not spending time with Krishna. But remember, all the rules and regulations are there for what? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So instead, Chaitanya Prabhu recommends that take that to Krishna. My dear Krishna, what to do? I know that I'm not supposed to have material desires. I'm supposed to love you purely, sincerely. But what to do? My mind is getting troubled with this material desire right now. If you so desire, please give me spiritual strength to deal with it. If you so desire, please show me a way how to take care of it. Like that, we can pray to Krishna. That way, we're giving the final authority to Krishna also. First of all, we're bringing Krishna in our mind right now, along with the material desire, number one. Number two, we're giving the control to Krishna. What you will do with the material desire is up to you. Either you fulfill the desire, or you take away the material desire, or you partially fulfill the material desire, or you will fulfill the desire late and make it go away. That is up to you. And we also tell that Krishna, I want a relationship with you, but right now my mind is not listening to me. Please help me. Like that, we can pray. There's another way we can always stay in the fixity to our master, our guru, our Krishna, like that. That's the other aspect we can learn from here. So now, Sanatana Goswami appreciates and glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that how our family is already very low. We assisted religious Nawab Hussain Shan. Rather than hating us, you accepted us. It's our great fortune on all of us. Like that, Sanatana Goswami appreciates Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So that's another thing. So irrespective of a devotee's previous condition, we uh, we don't judge a previous devotee based on their previous condition. That's another lesson we can learn. We always look at the potential that a devotee has to grow in their bhakti and then treat them as such. So this is another quality, another way to describe the same thing is equanimity quality. Quality, seeing the spiritual nature of each living entity. When we see that, instead of seeing how they're looking black, they're looking white, they're doing that, they're doing this nonsense like that, instead of looking that only, if you see that all of us are spirit souls, all of us are parts and parcels of Krishna, all of us are servants of Krishna. When we see that, that equal feelings will come. Oh, we're all equal. We're all servants of Krishna. Like that, when we see, then we'll focus on the spiritual aspects of other people, and we can also focus on the potential each of us has to become situated in our devotion service to Krishna. Then we focus on that and we serve each other, we help each other to grow in bhakti, like that. That's another lesson we can take from here. So um, let me see. Yeah. So then actually um, in this connection, Sanatana Goswami, when he is narrating about Anupam's pastime, right? How Anupam, they asked him to worship Krishna instead of Rama. They actually appreciate the glorious determination and for a devotion service of Rama in Anupam, how it is so fixed like that. So then sometimes we might wonder, I'm not able to do consistently what I want to do, what my guru is telling me to do. Every day do this, every day do that, but I'm not able to do how to deal with that inconsistencies in our life. So dealing with inconsistencies in our life, it's a big topic, but essentially, main thing is we need to understand where we are in our devotion service. In our initial stage of devotion service, many of you probably heard fifth Friday classes. I think Kirtidas Sundar Madhuri took the Madhurya Kadamani book explanation. So one of the things we learn from that is we all go through different stages of bhakti, and until we go to Nishta, our bhakti we cannot expect it to be like Nishta, like fixed, steady and consistent always like that. So understanding that, we give some, we uh, whenever we get out of consistency, we try to come back to consistency as soon as possible. That is in our hands. We make our attempts, and then as we get purified through devotion service, then that consistency will improve also. So when we understand that, then we don't beat ourselves up every day. Instead, we strive to the best we have. Like His Great Chaitanya Charan Prabhu calls it. I think Soman Keshav Maharaj also says the same thing. Like bhakti is, Krishna is not expecting some miracles from us. Krishna is expecting with whatever we have, we can do with whatever we have and whatever we can do, we should do right now. Instead of thinking I want to build a big temple of $5 million to Krishna, but I can do right now. I can donate $100 to Krishna now. Let me donate that. Like that, with whatever I can do right now, we do. That is the best way to engage in bhakti, like that. Then slowly, Krishna will give us the strength. Krishna will give the consistency to practice our devotion service and offer service nicely also. So then, continuing further in the past time, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami exchanged this discussion about Anupama and his fixed devotion like this, then it moves on to the third section, next section. So then uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami to stay with Haridas Thakur. He says, you also stay here with Haridas Thakur. And he says, both of you can release the transcendental Krishna Kada, like that. And then also both of you can chant Krishna's names like that. Like that he describes both Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami. This is wonderful. That's what devotees want to do when they stay together with other devotees. They try to see how I can maximize this time with Krishna as center. Whether we chant together, whether we discuss some Krishna Katha, uh, whether we sing some Vaishnava bhajans, whatever it is common for both of us, whatever is the common preference for both of us to grow in bhakti like that. So we take opportunities to associate with each other like that. So then sometimes it's also described in the section that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, every day when he comes with prasadam to meet Haridas Thakur, he also meets Sanatana Goswami and they all discuss Krishna Katha is described like that. So that is one more section. And then in this now, remember earlier Sanatana Goswami was making plans to give up his body by doing suicide by going under the cart of Jagannath Radha, like that cart chariot of Jagannath. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings up the topic without Sanatana Goswami mentioning it. That means he didn't verbalize it yet. It was in his mind only. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals his omniscience and independence here. And then he tells, okay, and he basically tells him, how can you think? I'm skipping some detail considering that we are getting close to the time. So basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami some wonderful lesson. This is very, very valuable for us also. So the valuable lesson he gives is, he says that is, if by giving up the body, I can get Krishna, I'll give up millions of bodies like this. Same thing everybody will do. But just by giving up body, we cannot achieve Krishna. Remember, that is the goal of our life. Not my goal of life is not that I should feel happy doing service. I should enjoy doing service. I should enjoy doing service. That's not my goal of service. My goal of life is to serve Krishna, right? And be situated in pure devotion service of Krishna. But so that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu highlights to him, that we cannot attain Krishna by just giving a body, by doing this austerity, that austerity, like that. We can only attain Krishna through bhakti, like that. So bhakti is the essential element. That means wanting to please Krishna is the essential element with anything that we are doing in bhakti practices for us also like that. So that is one thing he describes. And another important thing he describes is that actually your body is not yours anymore. Because you surrendered to me already, your body belongs to me. It's not your property anymore. So how can you give up your body? How can you uh, give up somebody else's property? Because his body is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's property now. How can you give up somebody else's property? You don't have a right to do that. So it's my property, like that he describes. So, and he elaborates on that point. This is very beautiful because he says, actually, through your body, want to do so many services. Because my mother ordered me to not stay in Vrindavan, but stay here in Jagannath Puri. That's why I sent you to Vrindavan. And and through you, I want to do many things like excavating holy places, writing holy scriptures about about bhakti, about Vaishnava Sadachar, like that. Like that, he describes. In this context, Bhujan Prabhu describes some of the Sanat Goswami's contributions in terms of literary contributions. So most of you might have heard Brihad Bhagavatamrita is also Sanatana Goswami wrote that literature. Then also Hari Bhakti Vilas, that is highlighting the Vaishnava culture or Vaishnava etiquette aspects and how to perform different festivals, how to perform different aspects of our devotion service, like that is described in Hari Bhakti Vilas. I never read Hari Bhakti Vilas myself. I only heard about it. I seen devotees quote references from it when somebody talks about, oh, how are we to do this, how are we to do that, like that. Reference is quoted by devotees like Haripashit Prabhu. I've seen him quoting like how on Ekadasi day, medicine is okay to be taken. He quotes from Hari Bhakti Vilas some quote like that. Like that I heard, but I never read myself. But apparently that book has some Vaishnava culture, Vaishnava etiquette aspects also. I was inspired to go through it sometime. I don't know when. So that's the other aspect he tells. Basically, through Sanatana Goswami, he wants to do different services. So what can we learn from this instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for us, from our perspective? Two broad aspects. One is how to deal with our own body, number one, and how to deal with other devotees' bodies, like that. Two broad categories. Okay, that means whatever whatever I can do with this body in terms of my intelligence, in terms of my physical ability to do something, in terms of mental ability I have, whatever I can do this with this body, I need to understand that all the capacity is belongs to our Guru. So now we need to engage that properly. That means we don't have a right to mishandle the body. That means we eat proper prasadam only. We use our body to serve nicely instead of using it for enjoyment more and more and more and more and more, like that. So like that, that is one lesson we can learn. That means our body is meant for service of Krishna and Guru. So then when we remember that rule, then we can uh, we can stay situated in a service attitude instead of enjoyment attitude. Number one. Similarly, number two, when we remember the other categories about others' bodies. So then that means when we're dealing with others, we don't see others as object of our enjoyment. They need to give me something so I can enjoy. Don't see like that. We see others also property of their guru, and they're all part and parcel of Krishna. They're all meant to serve their guru and Krishna. Like that we see them. Then we don't expect them to serve us in a very particular way, them to do something special for us, like that. We don't see like that, because we understand all of us are meant to serve Krishna only. So that is another aspect. Then we don't, that helps us, this understanding helps us to get out of exploiting tendency and to go to service attitude, like that. So that's another lesson we can learn from this section about how our body is meant for service of Krishna and our Guru only. I'll mention one small pastime at the end to conclude the test aspect of this chapter in a summary fashion. Essentially, one more pastime that is described in this chapter about Sanatana Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, one day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepting prasada at one garden. I forgot the name of the garden. He's accepting prasada at one garden in Jagannath Puri. So he sent a messenger to send a message to Sanatana Goswami to come here. So Sanatana Goswami, that was at the noon time. So mid afternoon, it's a summer afternoon. So it's very, very hot there in Jagannath Puri. And still, what happens to Sanatana Goswami? Sanatana Goswami, instead of taking a shortcut, straight route to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is going through near the temple of Jagannath Puri, Jagannath temple, he takes a long, far about, roundabout route. Not only roundabout route, longer route, but is going through the beach where sand is very, very hot, and his feet, in those days, sannyasis didn't wear shoes also. So his feet, he was stepping on hot sand, which was like fire at that time, is described like that. So, uh, so his feet are getting blisters, like that is described. But Sanatana Goswami is described, Sanatana Goswami was so happy that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called me to meet me. Like that, is so happy. In that happiness and meditation and absorption in meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he neither felt the pain of the hot sand, nor he felt the blisters coming out of the hand. He understood the blisters coming out of the feet, it seems. Such absorption Sanatana Goswami had, and such uh, eagerness to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he had, like that. So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once he goes there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, why did you come? Uh, how did you come like that? He asked. Then Sanatana Goswami says, I came like this to the beach like that. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, why did you come like that? You could have come to the straight path with Jagannath Puri near Jagannath temple. Instead of coming this long, it will be very hot. Your feet must have a lot of blisters now. Like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expresses his affection like that, his concern for Sanatana Goswami like that. And Sanatana Goswami describes that the reason he took the longer path is because if he comes through near the Jagannath Puri temple, then what happens is some pujaris may be going there. Then if he by chance if he touches them, he'll get they will get contaminated, and he will suffer for the offense like that. So he didn't want to offend them like that. That is why he took the longer path, even though it's inconvenient for him. He didn't think like that also. He took a longer path. So that's how he explains Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uh, was very happy. Uh, the main point I wanted to share here was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies Sanatana Goswami for his Vaishnava Sadachar, Vaishnava etiquette like this. So like he's concerned about how not offending other Vaishnavas. So he took personal inconvenience uh, considering other Vaishnavas like that. So actually there's more to it, but essentially this is one reason. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies Sanatana Goswami that Vaishnava, first of all, he says Vaishnava Achar is like the ornament of a Vaishnava, like that he glorifies. And then he glorifies Sanatana Goswami for his nice etiquette. And he wanted to, through Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana Goswami is like the gate through which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give Vaishnava etiquette also. That's how Hari Bhakti Vilas came, Brijan Prabhu was describing. So those are the few aspects of this pastime. Of course, there are many more details, wonderful details in this chapter. Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur dealings with each other also further described like that. But these are some sharings to appreciate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood and affectionate mood towards devotees, and Sanatana Goswami's exalted qualities of uh, eagerness and for association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, humble nature, and then also his uh, subtle, subtle yet great Vaishnava etiquette he maintained, Sanatana Goswami. All those qualities we heard, and how we heard about also how we understand our body and whatever we have is a property of our Guru and Krishna. So we should engage them in their service like that. And Krishna will give us Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tested Sanatana Goswami and prove that he's a exalted superior devotee. Oh, I made one note for myself, right? So one of the things I'll briefly mention about this test aspect in a practicing devotee life. So sometimes the doubt comes, oh my God, Krishna will test me also like that. He will give me too much punishment, too much distress like that. What to do like that? Some devotees will get worried like that. So one thing is, Krishna never gives any test that is beyond our capacity. So that is one thing. Second thing is, uh, Krishna will give only tests for us as we increase our surrender to Him. Like in Bhagavad Gita introduction, you might have read that Prabhupada describes how Krishna controls our senses based on the level of surrender we have. Like pure devotees, they surrender all the senses fully. Then Krishna will control the senses completely. So, but in case of us, if we have some mixture, something for me, something for Krishna, then he'll control only that much only like that. So we don't need to be worried, number one. So number two, the two kinds of tests that my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Rompasa Maharaj, described something in one of the recent yatras, it's not recent anymore, about 1 year ago, yatra, we went to Udupi area. So one of the things I got the message there, I liked it was, how when we're practicing bhakti, there are two broad tests for us to see, are we really focused? Are we really fixed in wanting our relationship with Krishna or not? For the two broad areas of tests that we come in our life, devotional life, devotee life, is some opportunity for sense gratification. It can be gross sense gratification, or it can be subtle sense gratification like Labha, Puja, Pratishtha also. So we'll get some opportunities for sense gratification. So now we have a choice. Do I want that and I want to feel enjoy that now? Or I'll say, Krishna, I don't want the sense enjoyment. I want to progress in my relationship with you only. That is the first kind of broad category of test. Second category of test is that we'll get some big problem in life. Then we'll say, oh, is Krishna really there? I'm chanting 16 rounds daily, but still, why is Krishna giving problem? Either Krishna is not there or Krishna doesn't have power to save me. One of those two. And I will go away. That is one possibility. Second possibility is I will do everything. Step number 1, 2, 3, 4, all the different ways to solve my problem in my life, and I don't think about Krishna. So my relationship with Krishna goal went out of the window. That's the second possibility I have. So then, uh, but instead of right possibility I have, right thing I could do is, Krishna, I know I have this big problem I need to deal with. I don't know how to deal with it also. If you so desire, you give me spiritual strength to deal with it. I still want my devotion service to you only. Please help me to grow in my devotion service through this circumstance somehow or other, and show me a way to deal with it properly so that it's conducive to my devotion service, Krishna. Please help me. Like that we can pray and we can still choose to our relationship with Krishna like that. So that's another thing about tests like that. And another aspect of those are two different aspects of tests we can see from Krishna. And that way, these are helpful for us to make a choice of Krishna in our life like that. So one last thing I'll mention, to go through these tests in our life, we need knowledge from Guru Sadhu Shastra, so that we're fixed in knowledge, so that we can deal with them properly. And we need guidance or open, mature, trusted devotees as a relationship we should have, so that we can share with them, we can take their guidance like that, or consultation from them like that. That's very important. And then we also establish a safe environment around us, so that way our environment is conducive to Krishna consciousness like that. And we cultivate a taste simultaneously, so that way we get purified and these troubles will go away. That means troubles might come, like how Sanatana Goswami, even though he had blisters in his legs, he didn't feel them because of his absorption in Krishna. Similarly, as we develop more spiritual taste, more absorption in Krishna, we also will not feel all the real pain from the suffering, or real suffering from the pains that we go through, distresses that go through in our life. Yeah, I'll pause here. I wish to hear your reflections or anything else. I know most of you hear so much Krishna Katha, unlike me. So please share whatever you understood, whatever you read from previous sessions, also from other devotees you heard, or your own reading. Please feel free to share your realizations, understandings also, or your inspirations also. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Sundaranand Prabhuji, thank you so much for a very, very sweet nectarian class. You shared so many pastimes on Mahaprabhu's and Sanatana Goswami's loving pastime. Very beautiful. And so many examples. I really liked, Prabhuji, when you said that one has to take care of mind and body both. I mean, it has to be balanced. Otherwise, one doesn't work without the other. So we can do our bhakti very nicely. Also, that one should have a consciousness of how to serve nicely and not for enjoyment, or how to enjoy these material things in this material world. Very nice example you gave for Sanatan Goswami, how he got sick by drinking water and had blisters, and Mahaprabhu still embraced him. So that teaches us that we should never judge any devotee for that reason, for their externals, and that can lead us to doing aparadh and have a fall down. As in yesterday's class, His Grace Harish Parashad Prabhuji also mentioned that please don't judge the devotees by their kids, because sometimes we see devotees are very nice, doing everything really perfect, in their Krishna conscious bhakti, but the kids are like totally opposite, and sometimes we tend to judge them or make comments, or externally, just by what we see, we have a perception in our mind, which is very wrong. Thank you very much for a very beautiful class, and very grateful to you, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead and share. Preeti Lasni Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. What a beautiful, beautiful class. I think whatever I wanted to say, mostly Shivani Mataji said. Just repeating a few words that you mentioned already, and she also mentioned. It was very nice to see how instructive this entire pastime of the meeting of Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. From the devotee's point of view, what the consciousness that a devotee should carry. The devotee should always ensure that first and foremost thing, we take care of ourselves. In the name of extremities, we are, in Krishna consciousness, sometimes we end up losing taste for Krishna consciousness. So that is something that I really liked when you started off. Like, I just want to quote your Guru Maharaj, what he said, which was very, very nice and very instructive to everyone. Sometimes he said this, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying as is, but once he mentioned that sometimes we fail to take care of our own bodies and we think, oh, Krishna should protect me. I'm an epitome of surrender. I've surrendered so nicely to Krishna that it's, I'm not even taking care of myself and I'm fully dependent on Krishna even for that. But then your Guru Maharaj said, what kind of thought is that? It is not at all surrender. It has nothing to do with surrender. It is like expecting Krishna to be your servant, right? You cannot take care of yourself and do the needful in the service of Krishna, and you're expecting Krishna to do everything for you. So that's not the correct mentality. I mean, of course, this has nothing to do with Sanatana Goswami. I'm just saying it as a practical application for ourselves. I really like that, the way you emphasize that point. And also other relationship, the beautiful relationship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so embracing, I mean, he was so loving towards Sanatana Goswami. Like even Shivani Mataji said, it's not about the externals. He really loved Sanatana Goswami and he told him that actually you belong to me. So that was so beautiful. And also Sanatana Goswami's mood of taking the other path, where he's not coming in touch with devotees. So that sensitivity, that is really beautiful. And he's even ready to, face with the hot sand and blister his own legs, but he didn't want to become a pain on other devotees or contaminate the others. Very, very nice, Prabhu. I like so many points. I don't know, every sentence was filled with realization when he was speaking. But then just wanted to repeat a few. Thank you so much. Very, very beautiful, very instructive, a very nice class on Vaishnava etiquette, actually. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Parlananda Prabhuji, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Ramjan Mataji. And Dhanavad Pranam to all. Prabhuji, Hari Bol.
Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Very nice. I just wanted to add little about Hari Prasad Prabhuji's lecture yesterday. He quoted the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He said that, कुछ बनने का प्रयत्न मत करो, कुछ करो. So in preaching, you don't want to become a great preacher or these or that, Patistala Puja, You just do sincere service, and that's all will give us, the real gist of it. That's what little I wanted to add, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Haribol. Very
Thank you
nice
for,
class.
yeah, thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Wonderful point, yeah. Wonderful.
Haribol.
Yeah. In fact, devotees are happy with the service opportunity more than outcome of the service. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Sindhu Rao, Prabhuji or Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. Very, very beautiful class. Very, very instructive. As Preeti Vilasini Mataji was saying, every line is a takeaway point in your session. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I actually liked 2 points that you made. One is about, Mataji already covered, taking care of our body, right? I hadn't even seen it in that light. The second one is the true meaning, where you started off the class saying it is a testing phase for Sanatana Goswami, right? In previous classes, we were wondering why, because Sanatana Goswami is so close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's been touched by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he shouldn't fall sick. His body is spiritual, right? I mean, they are all Nitya Siddha. So why? So I got the answer. I was contemplating and I got the answer for that today, and I'm very happy. And the pastime about Sanatana Goswami walking. So the first time when I heard that, it really touched my heart about how humble Sanatana Goswami is. And I was actually trying to connect that to the pastime of Jiva Goswami being rejected by Rupa Goswami, and the humbleness of Sanatana Goswami and how he treats others and how he feels for others is so evident that he tells Rupa Goswami, you can't do that. He is your disciple. You cannot reject him. So it's just these two pastimes is enough to kind of bring the good quality of Sanatana Goswami. I was thinking it is the heart matters, right? And that's why that humbleness is where Krishna resides. It's so evident, Prabhuji. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much for the wonderful class and realizations, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sindhumati, for sharing. Yeah, this is how Krishna glorifies the devotee, even through tests also. Like that's how we all appreciated Sanatana Goswami qualities now. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Lasing Mataji, your hand is still up. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Oh, not really. I mean, Mataji, sorry, it was the old hand raised.
No worries. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If there are no more questions.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji.
Sorry, Mataji, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sundaranand Prabhuji, for the wonderful session. And of course, I don't want to summarize because many devotees have already pointed out that your class was wonderful and each and every line was had so much take-home lessons. So, but I really want to thank you, and that's why I took this opportunity. So please, thank you, Prabhu. And whenever certain classes comes, then please come over and share your realizations. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Really grateful to you. Hare Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam. All blessings to Shri Guru Shiva Prabhupada. Thank you for the beautiful class, Prabhuji. The class actually echoed so much of your nature to very kind and very sweet. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you, even during my daughter's recent visit, how kindly you helped her. So I'm very grateful to you, Prabhuji, for that. And also, your classes also pour with a lot of devotion and kindness and care, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If there are no more questions or realizations, I would like to thank His Grace Sundaranand Prabhuji for his valuable time and association this morning. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a very sweet nectarian class. You shared so many pastimes. Very, very grateful to you and looking forward to your association in the near future. I would like to pay my obeisances to His Grace Sundaranand Prabhuji and all the assembled devotees. Do I have your permission to close the call, Prabhuji?
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Namo
समस्त
Namo
वैष्णववृंद की जय।
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai.
सुंदरानंद प्रभु जी की जय।
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hari.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Very nice class.
Thank you, dear devotees, and thank you, Prabhuji. Again, like Ekta Sundari Mataji said, please come back again on the mid-morning calls. We love your association so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.